welcome to this stream. You just left the Yodi stream. We are here for the Florida Law Professor murder. I'm waiting for Mo when she will show up. She has a link and she said she would be here. I don't think she has her own stream. I don't think. Or I might just have caught her in her what you call it, she calls it out with a dog or something like that. Yeah, you never know. Yeah, so I hopefully Mo will be here shortly. I saw that what is the music from? The music I am licensing from Artlist, and it is called, I think, Red City Hero. So it's just a snippet of music that I use for my intro, or for my stream starts soon intro. And yeah, Bobby, yeah, sure, there is fire to put out in her household. Yeah, but I hope she will get here. I think she has... Yeah, she has her pre-trial Charlie Adelson board. She has that as a video, but I hope she can come on here and show it herself. Yeah, yesterday we checked out the 2019 trial, the opening and parts of the closing statements. We know that Mr. Juan snitched on what's his face. He was convicted on murder 1 and conspiracy. Katherine Magbanua hung jury. So there was a retrial in 2022. So that is where we are headed today with this stream, so we can get a bit of a context, because she will be, according to the articles I read, she is up as a witness against Charlie Adelson. And that will be interesting to see, because as you remember, well, as we will see, because today I will play her testimony in her trial, because she took the stand. So we will have that in mind to this upcoming trial, that everybody claimed their innocence. Now everybody is testifying against Charlie. Yeah. So that is on the docket today. YouTubeist things, give me the thumbs up. You know how to do it. You have, if you joined via the Yodi stream, you know what to do. The more likes, the more active the chat, the more probable it is for YouTube to promote me to more people. It's not harder than that. And yeah, other than that, what have I done today? The second of the members only video was up just before Yodi. And I promised all the new members that I will set up one new members only video each day this week. And it's about the renovations, the farm, stuff like that, the surroundings, just so you see a little bit more about where I come from. Okay, but we are still waiting for Mo. Mo. Well, she will join eventually. Dun dun dun. But what we will be watching today is dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. At stage. And as per usual, Mm-hmm. Hmm. No. Hmm. Some weird things with the overlay. Well, that will do. That will do. That will do. vidIQ is saying this isn't monetized yet. I have monetization on. I think. Let me check. Yeah, monetization is on. Yeah, more will hopefully show up in the middle of this. Yeah, but let's just move right into Katherine Magbanua's testimony in her retrial for the murder of Dan Markel, the Florida law professor. No, I don't have any good snacks tonight. I don't. I had a bit too much to do, so didn't even have time to go to the store. But yeah, here we go.
Go up and take the stand. Before you have a seat, we're going to swear you in. Please raise your right hand and respond to the clip.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Please have a seat. And scoot up close to that microphone, adjust your image, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Ms. Magbanua.
Good afternoon.
Okay, can you please introduce yourself to the jury and spell your name for the court reporter?
My name is Katherine Magbanua, KATHERINE
Okay, so before we get started, I just want to ask you how you're feeling.
Freaking out.
I will try to find
Yes.
him if he
All eyes
is
on you?
indoors.
Yes.
Give me a
Other eyes
second.
you've never seen before?
A lot of eyes I haven't seen.
Okay, all right, so if I ask you a question and it's confusing, stop me.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
and I want to make sure that everything that we get out is clear for the jury, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, we're gonna be talking about a lot of stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
We're gonna go back in time, almost 10 years,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? Because you know that this has a lot to do with your relationship with Sigfredo Garcia, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And also your relationship with Charles Adelson.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now you understand the oath that you took just now,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? And what was that oath?
To tell the truth.
You understand what the punishment for lying on the oath is, correct?
Perjury?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you also understand, because we've talked about it numerous times, you do not have to testify today.
Yes, ma'am.
You have a constitutional right not to testify.
Yes, ma'am.
And are
I let the door open, so if Jingles wants to join us, he can. But he isn't indoors at the moment. I will try to play this in 1.25.
you doing this voluntarily and freely?
Yes, ma'am.
Did anyone force you to testify?
No, ma'am.
So let's start at the very beginning,
Mhm.
all right? Okay, when is the first time you ever laid eyes on Charles Adelson?
I was working down in South Beach at a dental office, and he's one of our specialists, periodontists, so he came into our office.
Now, which office was this that you were working at the
It's
time?
at Sophie Dental. It's south of Fifth, I think.
That's what
that's what-
Sophie stands for, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and is it on South Beach?
It's on South Beach, yes.
And where were you living at the time?
At that time, I believe I was living in Treasure Island. That's in North Bay Village.
Now, what did you do? What was your duties working at Sophie Dental?
I worked front desk, so I did a lot of like clerical work, answer the phones, set up appointments, insurance verification.
And was Charles someone, he didn't actually work there, like you said, he would just come in and perform his specialty?
Yes, ma'am.
What was his
She
specialty?
looks
He was
like
a
a child.
periodontist, so he travels up and down from, I guess, Miami to Broward County, probably West Palm.
It could possibly go all the way up to West Palm Beach.
Yes, ma'am.
And do you remember when exactly you met him in 2013? And I know it's a long time ago, but if you can try to narrow it down as much as you can.
Probably towards the end of the year.
Okay,
Yeah.
towards the end.
Yes,
All right,
ma'am.
and I'm not pigeonholing you into a specific
Yes,
date. Okay,
no.
if you don't remember, you let the jury know.
Okay.
Now, at the time that you met him, had you broken up with Sigfredo Garcia?
Yes, we were separated already.
Now, I want you to explain to the jury about Sigfredo Garcia. Okay,
Okay.
when did you first meet him?
I met him probably right after I graduated high school. He's just like through mutual friends, and I mean, he was trying to get with me, so
Were you a teenager at the time?
yes, ma'am.
Did he go to the same high school that you went to?
No, he didn't. I went to Beach High, Miami Beach Senior High,
Mhm.
and he's older than me, so he's like 2 years older than me, so we weren't in high school together.
All right, so it's because you had mutual friends how your worlds collided.
Yes, ma'am.
And like you said, how old were you? About 18, 19?
Yeah, 18.
Now, did you guys start dating?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, at some point, did you end up going away for college?
Yes, I got accepted to a couple colleges actually, and then I picked University of Central Florida, so I'll have a chance to be out of the house.
Where were you living when you were graduating from high school? Who were you living with?
When I graduated from high school,
When you first met Sigfredo?
I moved up to Orlando, where UCF it was or is, and I was living in an apartment.
And before you moved to UCF, when you guys were just dating, were you still living with your family at that time?
Yes, with my parents.
Okay, so mom, was your brother and stuff and everybody in the house?
I believe I was the last one. I have two older brothers, so yeah, I think they were already gone to college, so or finished college.
Okay.
Just with my mom and my dad.
Okay. And your mom, what does she do for a living? Or what did she do for a living?
She's a nurse. She was a nurse.
And she worked her entire career as a nurse,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Now, going to UFC?
UCF.
According to the articles I've
Okay,
seen,
UCF.
is
What
that
did you
she
study at
is at
UCF?
least
I
up
got my
as the
bachelor's in
witness.
health
Don't know if
services
she will actually
administration.
testify.
And what did Sigfredo do when you moved to Orlando?
I believe he was in construction at that time.
Did he move to Orlando with you?
Yes, ma'am.
How were things when you guys were living in Orlando?
It was great.
Okay. And why do you say it was great?
I mean, it's the first time we lived together, and it was my first time being out of the house, so it was just it was good.
Was he giving you any problems at that time in terms of infidelity or drug use?
No, we didn't know anybody in Orlando.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was he a stay-at-home working?
Oh, he was working like almost 2 to 3 jobs because I ended up getting pregnant. So he was working 3 jobs at that time.
So while you were in college, you got pregnant with your first child,
Yes, ma'am.
your son.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have your son in Orlando?
Yes, I did. In Winter Park Hospital.
Okay. And were you able to complete your bachelor's degree?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you do after you completed your bachelor's degree?
I stayed in Orlando for a little bit, but then eventually I ended up moving down south because I wanted to work in a hospital.
Okay.
And I
When you
needed a
say
babysitter.
when you say down south, you mean
To Miami.
to Miami.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you say you needed a babysitter, who would have been the prime person to be a babysitter?
Sigfredo's mom or my mom?
So takes a village, right?
Yes, ma'am.
When did you get pregnant with Kaylee, your daughter?
I got pregnant with her around 2012. Yeah,
2012. When is her birthday?
May 30th.
Did you have her May 30th of 2012?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we're going to use that as another big, point for you to
Okay.
go back in time because you can remember things around important dates.
Okay.
Did you ever get married to Sigfredo?
No, I didn't.
But you do refer to him as your husband, right?
Yes, ma'am. I've been with him for so long. Yeah.
Would he refer to you as his wife?
Yeah, I believe so.
And even though you're not legally married, in your mind, do you consider yourselves married
Yes, ma'am.
at that time?
Yes.
Now you come back to Miami. Do you remember how old you were at that time?
I was probably 19, probably no. I don't really even remember. I must have been like 19, 20. No, I graduated. I had my son. I was probably 22, 23.
How old were you when you had your daughter?
I believe like 26, 27.
Okay, so you were in your 20s at this time.
Yes,
when you come
ma'am.
back. And when you come back from Orlando, you're still in a relationship with Sigfredo, right?
Yes.
Did things start to change when you returned to Miami?
We were around like, our friends, and we had a little bit more of a chance to kind of hang out. So not right when we moved. We still had a good relationship.
Now, how was Sigfredo with your family? Was he close with your mom?
Yes, he was.
Is it close with your brothers?
Yes.
Okay, so your family was aware of Sigfredo and that he was a part of your life.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, at this time, is Sigfredo able to come back to Miami and get a job?
I believe so. I think he got a job in construction again.
Did Sigfredo graduate from high school?
He got his GED.
Okay. So when was it, if you can remember, that things started to take a turn for the worse in your relationship with Sigfredo?
It had to be like a little, started kind of fighting like when I was pregnant with my daughter. And then probably after I gave birth to her, that whole year, we tried to, work things out, but kind of started fiddling down.
Now, what were you guys arguing about?
He just disappeared and I don't know, he would be drinking, and half the time I didn't know what he was doing.
Did you suspect that he was using drugs?
At that time, I believe so, yeah.
Did he do drugs in
smoking
front of
weed.
you?
Probably smoke weed, but nothing, or, like alcohol, but that's about it.
Okay. And did you suspect him of cheating on you?
At what time frame? Like,
Okay, so now we're talking about, like you said, you got pregnant with your daughter.
yes,
Okay. And it's a year later when you guys actually break up, around her first birthday.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you'd say that that whole year between her birth and her first birthday is when things were kind of rocky.
Yes, ma'am.
How bad were your fights? Did they ever get violent or?
No, it didn't get violent like that. Like, we would just argue back and forth. Half the time it was probably me like screaming at him, and then he just doesn't respond, or like he'll leave.
Okay. And now just to remind, you're in your mid-20s and so is Sigfredo.
Yes, ma'am.
So you guys are kind of young.
Yes, ma'am.
And were you aware that he was involved in criminal activity?
I mean, I don't know if he was, or like, now it's like I'm seeing a lot more of, what's been going on, but at that time, no, he was just hanging out.
And you do remember a time when Sigfredo picked up charges in South Florida, right?
In
He was
South Florida?
He was arrested. You're aware that he's a convicted felon, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so do you know what it was he was convicted of?
I know he used to get in trouble when he was younger,
Okay.
but probably sale of cocaine and weed, or
Did any
Right.
of that, was that any of that going on, like him getting arrested and going through the criminal system, if you remember,
Mhm.
around the time of 2012, 2013?
No, I don't think so.
And were you aware that he was selling drugs?
When he was younger, yeah.
So you knew he was selling drugs when he was younger?
Yeah.
Were you aware of him selling drugs while you two were together in your good times?
No.
And did you suspect that that is maybe what he was doing after you broke up, or you didn't know?
I didn't know.
Now, is there one specific thing that caused the breakup in 2013?
A specific thing, not that I can recollect right now.
Like, sometimes people would say, oh, I caught him cheating on me.
Oh, yeah, he did. One time I was going through his phone and I saw that he was like talking to another girl, or there was like text messages from another girl.
Okay, and that could have been the catalyst just for the argument that caused the
Yeah,
split.
yeah.
But are you sure, or you think that's what it is?
I believe that's one of the times.
Now, because of this massive fight that you had, he was living with you at the time, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And was he helping you take care of the kids at the time?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a visitor who is desperately trying to get ready. Are you ready? Thumbs up. Ta-da!
Hello. Sorry, I was spending an hour trying to do these stupid emojis only for it to tell me that it needs to be 1-to-1 ratio, which means F all to me because I know nothing about computer graphics. So, yeah, my day has been So I am working on it diligently, y'all, but I am not good at any of this.
Yeah, I have the same issue when I'm trying to do emojis, that this looks fun. Damn it, it has to be the exact square rate. And where do I do that?
Yeah, I was like, I just spent an hour making all of these cute and pretty, and they took them all in until the end when they're like, no, none of these are good. And I was like, but you accepted all of them.
Yeah. It's
And
not
then I'm
until
like,
you
how in the hell
try
do
to
you take
press
us?
save. Yeah.
So yes, I was working diligently. It may have been that I was up late doing the murder board, that maybe today was not the day to attempt to do graphical stuff that I'm not good at while attempting other stuff.
Yeah. Once you get to monetization, there's a lot of stuff that has to be done, and you want to do them all.
Yeah, I mean, at least I made an appointment. I'm not at the tax part yet, but I did make an appointment with our tax guy to make sure I'm doing this right. But since I can't even figure out how to take a daggone screenshot, you know, maybe it's it's a little bit cart before the horsey thing.
Oh, well, you will find out sooner or later, and eventually it will become not easy, at least not in my experience, but you learn to ignore most of the things and do bare minimum, and then do another bare minimum, and then another bare minimum, and all of a sudden you have
Well,
stuff.
yes, I will become semi-competent as per usual, and,
Mm.
if all else fails, I will also, sue the ADLU. That story made my day, and Mr. Mo was like, "I don't understand you, but I love you."
Mm.
I had tears rolling down my face, and he's like, "What is wrong with you?" And I was like, "Look, dear, absurdity just,
Yeah.
it makes my
Oh,
day."
I have something for your nightly news. Do you know
Oh.
Bitcoin Boy? The
Uh, the Winklevoss guys or
Ben Armstrong?
oh,
Uh, well, he was arrested about a month ago with
Nicholas,
his
I can't
mistress in
work
the
a
car, and
screenshot.
yeah.
I don't know Bitcoin.
No, but it's a YouTube Bitcoin, no, one of these.
Oh, that weirdo guy. I
Yeah,
heard
that
something
weirdo
about
guy.
it.
Yeah, he went out on Twitter today and said he is leaving his wife and kids for his mistress, and he asks for privacy
As you do.
on
Sounds
Twitter.
good. As
Oh,
as you do, I always when I leave my wife for my side piece, I always ask for privacy, because, it's
yeah, I mean, I saw Ian doing. First, I only saw Ian's, and I thought, "What is he talking about?" And then, oh, he's in quotes. He's answering something, and then I saw Ben Armstrong. Please respect our wishes to be left alone, me and my mistress, while I'm leaving my wife and 3 children behind. Yeah, sure, that will work out well for you, dude. Mm.
Yeah, I suggest that he has all fungible money, actually, I suggest she takes him for all of his money.
Mm. Yeah, she had. If every one of his Bitcoin, whatever coins he's trying to sell to people and stuff like that, and she was said, "Okay, that's the current worth. I don't care how much it plummets. I want half of what it says there
Yeah,
in
I don't
cash,
get
not
NFTs
bitcoins, in
either.
cash. Yeah, sell them all. I want it."
Uh, but, I
Mm.
I can't re I don't understand any of it, but
Mm.
Godspeed to him, make sure
Yeah,
there is no antifreeze in your Gatorade, allegedly. I am just saying,
allegedly.
sir, check your drinks and make sure that she didn't switch the skinny and sweet for rat poison a la 9 to 5,
Mm.
because it could happen. It could
Mm.
happen.
Well, we are currently watching that from the 2022 trial. Katherine
Okay.
Magbanua has taken the stand. Um
Have they gotten
she's
to the Dolce Vita, audio yet?
no, I don't know. It's just her testimony.
Okay.
She's on direct now, and there she is, looking like a child with
She does look 13-ish,
yeah,
15-ish at the latest.
yeah, and it's a bit unsettling with that boob job and
Yeah.
everything, and she looks 13. I mean, yeah,
But I can imagine that when she's done up in club gear, she looks much older.
Yeah. Now
Or
she's there
not,
playing
which is even
innocent.
creepier.
Yeah. Yeah, she had different jobs, and including she was, I think she was starting to tell about her relationship with the guy who was convicted in 2019 and stuff like that. And yeah, how she was
Yeah.
working front desk of the dental office. But I would assume that the prosecution can show that. Well, did you really?
Yeah, I'd like to see your W-2s if possible.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly
Everybody
where were
paid
your
her taxes and
timestamps?
what?
I
Timestamps?
just wanted to see her timesheets. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But because nothing of interest so far. But I have heard that the cross-examination was interesting, and I'm not
Yeah.
entirely sure how long that will take. Well, she's on the stand for quite a bit, so
Oh, wow.
let's go through. Yeah,
Yeah, he was living with me. So
Was it you, him, and the kids, and that was it?
yes, ma'am.
And so you kicked him out of the apartment.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know where he went?
No.
And how serious was this separation between the two of you?
Around this time, this is like when Kaylee was like probably
This is
one, right?
Now we're at 2013.
Okay, yeah, she's around
She's one.
Well, I'm sorry, what was your question?
How serious was this separation between the two of
Oh,
you?
I've had it at that time. Yeah, it was a lot of things led up to that big fight that we had.
Okay. And on times you would fight before, you'd fight, but it never got to the point where you'd kick him out the house.
Yeah, no, I would kick him I've kicked him out once before that time, but nothing really. Like we would just argue and
He'd come back like you did.
yeah, like he'd come back like later at nighttime and he'd be home.
So would this be the first major breakup?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were done.
I was done.
Did he try to get back together with you?
Yeah. I mean, he always tried to get back with me.
Now, so you start working at Sophie Dental. Do you remember how you got the job at Sophie Dental?
And one of my high school friends was working there and she told me there was an opening and she told me the hours will actually be really good for you. I already had my daughter, so I was looking for a job and I did an application and
I'm going to play half an hour, 45 minutes,
time
and
you were
then I
working?
will go
I believe I
checking
was
for the
working
cross-examination
promotions as
because
well.
that is the
You
interesting
saw
part of
earlier
this
during
trial.
your trial a picture with you and some
Yeah.
other ladies standing up behind like a table with some like a case of beer.
like samples, yeah.
And then you
Was
can
that
show a
good
bit of your
example
murder
what
board,
the different
maybe?
promotions were?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that what you were doing? in
Okay,
that?
yeah, I'll have
Yes, ma'am.
to
Can you
plug
explain
in
to the
the.
jury what that entails and how it is
It's
that you
an
became involved?
interesting setup
so we
because I
worked
had to
with
set things up
liquors,
kind of
like,
differently
let's
to
say,
get everything in frame.
Okay.
So
absolutely,
things are on like coffee cans and
and certain types of vodkas.
is the
And
duct tape and holy
we
water
would set
production
up,
still around here?
we would buy from with the money that like the company would give
That
us.
would be a
We
good
would
name
get it from
for
the
when you
owner
decide
of
to
like the
start a
store,
company.
or buy from the store, and then we would give samples out to people that are coming in.
Okay. And then how would you get paid?
At
Duct
that
tape and
time, I
holy
believe I
water
was getting paid
productions.
through
I
check.
hope it's not
Okay.
I
taken.
don't remember.
Are you certain or you're not certain?
I'm
I-
not certain.
If I knew
And-
how to, if my brain could work after spending
you
all the
broken up with
time
him at
trying to
this time?
graphically do
Yes,
something
ma'am.
wrong,
Now, when you first meet Charlie, did you know right away that he wanted something more than a friendship?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Explain to the jury how it is that he got your number.
Well, he was one of the specialists in the dental office that I was working at. So he came in and I think he was telling some of the girls, like, asking about me, and he got my phone and tried to put his phone number on my phone. And I was like, I already have it, because we had to text the doctors to tell them
His-
about their appointments sometimes.
Okay.
his
And
HR
would you
department
say-
didn't say nah to that. Generally, where is the Me Too movement in this joint? Where is
Very,
feminism?
very absent.
Damn Iceland, where are you? Oh, they're all on strike today. Never mind.
Yeah.
Or tomorrow, or whenever. They're on strike.
It's a tiny, teeny part of me wants things in Iceland to just go more smoothly than usual.
They probably are, allegedly.
If you don't know, Iceland's women are having a one-day strike.
Yeah, but all the laundry is going to be piled up for tomorrow. I mean, no, it's a joke, but when mom gets sick, I mean, wasn't feeling good this weekend, and the amount of laundry I've had to do just with things backed up. So, okay, women,
Mm.
you've made your point, but tomorrow you're going to have double the laundry. Have fun.
Yeah,
Or,
but
double the accounting or nuclear physicists or whatever
mm,
you want to say.
yeah, it's a bit of did you have fun on your day off? Here's your workload. Um, I mean, after my vacation this summer, I came back and discovered that the person who I redirected all my emails and everything to decided to not answer any one of them.
Oh,
Yeah,
as you
that
do.
was a fun 3 weeks after that, trying to play catch up. Uh,
You're just like, what the actual crap, dude?
yeah, I had words, and
I can imagine. And all of
yeah,
them had 4 letters.
and all of
Well, I
them
don't know
were
if they're 4
two,
letters in Swedish.
well, we have several letter words, and we have a more Shakespearean style sometimes.
Ah,
Yeah.
like in French when you say something bad and it's like chalice or something.
Well, our curses are more in the religious department and farm tools, and
Ah,
yeah, Jesus might save you, but my fertilizer is ready for you. Stuff of yeah.
ah. Well, that
Mm.
makes sense.
There's a lot of
Fry.
oh
The cat.
jealousy animals today.
Yes. Well, Thor intentionally baits Fry because he
Mm.
can, and he's a cat.
Yeah,
And
that's a catch. Yeah.
so he'll sit on his perch and just be a jerk because that's what cats do.
Mm. Yeah, cats generally are they are born assholes. Just saying.
And Fry doesn't understand why Thor just, won't be his friend when he barks at him.
Oh, weird.
I know. It's strange. It's like, why won't you be my friend?
Oh, let's see in a year when he grows up.
Well, yeah, considering he was supposed to be a Pomsky, I think that's
Mm.
didn't quite happen as told.
Mm. Mm.
Down.
Yeah, let's get back to Catherine so
All
we can
right.
get through that.
So a little
I
bit
mean, what did he do?
boss
Did he ask you out
harassment.
right away, or how did that evolve?
Oh,
I think
boss announcement. What?
I said a little bit of boss harassment. He just kind of said, "Oh, new secretary, we're going out."
Yeah.
through time, like he kept, Kaylee was little at that time, so I could never like really hang out or go out. So he kept on. And then one day, like we went out to go get something to eat or something.
Okay, so it's fair to say he was persistent.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to try to help you with your memory. So I'm going to go back to now we're moving forward. Do you remember if you guys were dating at New Year's Eve in 2013?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you guys go out for New Year's?
Yeah, we went to this place called Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, and we spent New Year's over there with
Okay,
some
and
other friends.
that establishment is in Fort Lauderdale?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and it's a big casino with lots of shops and clubs and all that kind of
Yes,
stuff, right?
yes, ma'am.
And did your relationship ever get to serious boyfriend and girlfriend?
No.
But how much, how about the communications between the two of you, between you and Charles?
We would text.
Okay, now
Yeah.
explain to the jury, because I know sometimes women complain that men do not communicate with them a lot, all right?
Okay.
Did Charles Adelson have this problem?
No, he's always texting
Is he someone too that talks a lot on the phone?
all the time.
And even with his job where he's working all day, he will call and text and everything in between throughout the day?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when was the first time you ever met Charlie's sister, Wendy?
I believe the first time was when they were talking about Yardbird when we were eating.
Okay, so you remember that day
Yes,
when
ma'am.
that was the first time you ever met Wendy?
I believe so. Yes.
Before then, because that's in March of 2014, okay? Before then, do you remember Charles ever talking about Wendy to you?
Not that I can remember.
Okay.
He probably said he had a sister,
Mhm.
but like he had a sister and a brother, but I just didn't know when he told me he had a sister
Okay,
and a
and
brother.
he never spoke to you, or you never had any knowledge of, for example, Wendy's divorce?
No.
Okay. All you knew is he had a sister and a brother.
Yes.
Now, that night you went to Yardbird.
hmm
All right. What is Yardbird?
It's a restaurant that like you can eat out on the patio. It has an indoor, outdoor.
And it's on South Beach?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it daytime or nighttime?
It was after work, so it was like like early dinner.
Okay. And would the records reflect probably an accurate reflection of what time it was?
What records?
iCloud records or something?
Oh,
that we
yes,
have
ma'am.
there. We can rely on the records to determine the time, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, did you leave work and meet them there?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you remember what car you were driving at that time?
My Mazda.
Is that the white one?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And what car was Charles driving at that time?
I think he had that Mercedes.
Okay. The one that was on the picture?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you get to the restaurant, are Wendy and who you now know is Jeffrey Lacoste, were they both there?
Yes, ma'am. They were already sitting there.
And did you show up before Charlie, or you guys got there at the same time?
I don't remember.
And how did Wendy and Jeffrey, I mean, I know you probably don't remember too much, but did anything weird stand out with the two of them, or it was obvious to you that they were dating?
Nothing weird. They were
Okay.
just there together.
Anything stand out from you from that dinner? Anything that you remember that stood out to you?
No, not that I can recall.
Okay. And then after that dinner, where did you go?
Home.
And do you know where Charles went?
He probably went back to his house.
Okay, he didn't go home with you.
How is sound and everything for everybody? Or is it just
yeah, you might
with
have to
Gigi?
refresh. I think it
No,
might just be
I-
you, Gigi.
No,
I'm not frozen. But
not me either. I'm having a bit of an unstable connection. Ghostry says excellent sound. Fedoresky, it's fine here. Yeah, Daisy Mim says everything's fine. Okay. Refresh. Yeah, image quality went down a bit. I have a bit of an unstable. Let's see if I can switch between router and mobile to make it more. Now I might glitch a bit. Dun dun dun.
oh, okay. Good deal,
Yeah.
Gigi.
Yep. Okay. We can continue.
Now, at this time when you're full on, well, not full on, but you're dating Charles, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you seeing any other men?
No, ma'am.
Right. Did you have time to see any other
No.
men?
I did not.
How many jobs were you working at that time now? Now we're in March of 2014. Were you still at Sophie Dental? If you can remember.
I think I can't remember.
Is there ever a time from 2012 onwards that you remember not having a job?
I always had a job.
And sometimes multiple jobs, right?
Yes, ma'am.
She didn't answer the first
And even
question.
when Sigfredo was out of the picture at this time, you were able to, with your jobs, provide for your kids.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have any other family help?
Yeah, my mom.
Your mom would help you out?
Yes, ma'am.
How would she help you out?
She'd either I transfer money or like she'd give me cash.
Now, describe for the jury now, you're dating Charlie. How is Sigfredo's presence in your life at this time? Where was he living, if you know?
When I was dating Charlie,
Yeah.
I know he wasn't living, like he was probably like living at his friend's house, but eventually he ended up living with that girl.
Trent.
Yes.
Okay. So, but you don't know when that transition took place.
No, ma'am.
All right. So as far as you knew, he's staying with friends, things like that.
Yes, ma'am.
Was it any of your concern where he laid his head at night?
No.
Why?
We weren't together.
And you saw the call detail records about the flurry of communications between you and Sigfredo and Charles.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there almost like a pattern of coming up on Fridays is where the
Yes.
increase of the calls happen?
Mhm.
Why is that?
Because usually we were trying to work out something where, one weekend I get the kids and then he tried to help me out the following weekend. So I'd usually start blowing up his phone like Fridays if I can't get a hold of him, because it was always difficult for him to take care of the kids.
Okay, so and you're still in your mid-20s at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and would you go to him first before you go to other family members to
Of
watch?
course. Yeah.
And would it be a situation where you would call back to back and he wouldn't pick up?
Yes, ma'am.
And you wouldn't let up on the texting
No.
and that's because he's the father of your kids,
Yes.
right? And you wanted him to help you.
Yes, ma'am.
You notice anything unusual about the fact that you'd be texting the father of your kids and then maybe not get through and then maybe make a phone call to your boyfriend?
No.
Now, at the time, you did see some of the summaries that were presented by the state in this case, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, there's a lot of numbers on your call detail record that haven't been identified,
Yes, ma'am.
all right? The only one that they were able to put in there is Yindro,
Yes, ma'am.
and she testified here today, right? You had other close friends at that time, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, who were your closest friends?
Kenya and Maria.
Okay, would you say that they were your best female friends?
Yes.
Were they closer to you than you were to Yindro?
At that time, they're my two best friends.
They're your two best friends?
Yes.
Okay, and they're not your only friends, right?
No, ma'am.
If I had you look at those numbers now, do you think you'd remember whose number belonged to who?
Not, I don't think so.
Okay, it'd be in your contacts, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, as far as you knew, did Sigfredo know about Charlie, that you were dating this guy?
Yes, ma'am.
And why do you believe, or how do you know that?
How do I know that he knows?
Or
me?
what is it that made you realize that he knew that you were dating this guy? Did you say it to him or did he ever make a comment?
I probably did. Like I probably mentioned Charlie's name or whatever,
Oh.
trying to get him mad.
Oh,
Yeah.
to push some buttons with him.
Yeah.
And you frequently spoke to your boyfriend, Charlie, about
ma'am.
the father of your kids,
Yes, ma'am.
Sigfredo.
Yes, ma'am.
So you referred to him, to Charlie, as several different names, right? Well, one, you've called him Tuto before, right?
Sigfredo?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Charles Adelson knows the name Tuto.
Yes, ma'am.
So when you heard on some of the recordings him saying, I don't even know who these guys are, and he keeps repeating it over and over,
Yes, ma'am.
he's lying, right?
Of course.
Now, in June of 2014, okay, that is when Kaylee's birthday is, right?
Yeah.
May 30th,
May 30th. Yes,
just
ma'am.
a few days before June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, 4th, where they say the first trip happened, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What did you do for your birthday? For Kaylee's birthday, if you can remember.
I just had like a little gathering in the house, just like another friend of mine, I think, and her kids.
Okay, something small?
Something small, yeah.
How old was she turning?
1. Wait, no, this is
2014,
2.
2,
Yeah.
okay. And you're still living at the same apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
Who was living with you at the time?
My mom.
All right. So it's just the four of you,
Yes, ma'am.
2 kids, you and your mom.
Yes, ma'am.
Would Sigfredo still come over?
Yes.
Okay, why is that?
He'd come by every now and then, see the kids, hang out.
Were there times where he would come and take the kids and take care of them over the weekend?
Yes, ma'am.
So he wasn't a complete, total absentee father.
No, no,
Was he consistent though?
that he wasn't. He wasn't consistent about it.
Now, around that time, you've seen these things about you pinging and going to take Sigfredo
Yes, ma'am.
to rent a car. Did that ever happen?
No, ma'am.
Do you have any idea why your cell phone would have been pinging on that day 8 years ago? Do you remember why?
No, but one of my friends lives close by there, so
Okay, which friend of yours lives close to the
Kenya.
airport? Kenya lives
Yeah.
there, okay. But you wouldn't even be able to tell the jury if that is consistent with that tower, because you don't know anything about towers, right?
no, ma'am.
But had you taken him to go rent a car, you think you've never taken him to rent a car?
No, I've never taken him.
Now, when you were at this time, did Sigfredo own a car, or was he just switching cars all the time?
He was switching cars. I don't know if he had his own car at that time.
So it could be that you just don't know whose cars he was driving.
Yeah, he would just get his friends' cars, or I don't know.
Did
I
you
didn't
ever-
know what he was really doing at that time.
Did you ask?
No.
Had you asked about what his day-to-day, what he was doing every single day,
Yes.
would he have answered you? Told you what he was doing every day?
Probably not.
Why?
He doesn't tell me everything.
But also too, like you don't have to tell him what you're doing every day, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Why is that?
We're not together.
So I want to talk to you about this day because this day
That
actually
is
stands
Katie
out in your memory,
Magbanua,
okay, is the
Magpie.
July 1st
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
confrontation. Okay. Now explain to the jury in your own words what happened that day. So let's start with Do you get a call from Charlie? Like, is he inviting you to go out?
I don't remember like who called who first or
Okay.
whatever, but I know he wanted to go out on the jet ski.
And were those his jet skis?
Oh, a jet ski, yeah.
Oh, just one?
One, yeah.
Okay. Had you guys ever gone jet skiing before?
I believe so.
All right.
According to
and
David, they're now guilty.
What happened with Sigfredo that day? Did he come and pick up your kids?
Yes, he did.
Right. Was it his turn to watch kids?
Yes, ma'am.
And he picks them up. How old are Ethan and Kaylee around this time? Kaylee would be 2, and so Ethan would be 5?
No, probably 7.
7. Okay. So he takes the kids. Do you
5 years
remember what
apart.
car he was driving at that time?
I believe he had like a blue Volvo.
Okay. And is this the car that he was in when the confrontation happened?
Yes, ma'am.
So do you see him take the
He
kids and leave?
drove a Volvo.
Where do you think he went, or you just didn't ask?
Well, I mean, I found out later that he was at that like a pizza place,
Mhm.
like down the block from like where I stayed.
But
Well,
when he
yes,
left, you
but
had no idea
that
where he
also
was-
has
where
to
he was
do
No.
with there are more
you
alligator
come downstairs,
pets
does Charles
in
come to pick you up?
Florida
Yes,
than
ma'am.
anywhere
What's he driving?
else.
The Lexus,
And what's tacked onto the back of the Lexus?
the jet ski.
Is this outside your North Bay Village apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this in the parking lot?
Is it like when you want to go pick me up?
Yeah.
Yeah, he picked me up in the parking lot.
So he picks you up in the parking lot.
Mhm.
Are you guys able to exit the parking lot?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. When is it that you see, or you know what? You tell the jury. What happens next?
As we were pulling out of like the parking lot, we were gonna go down the way, like one of the roads, and Sigfredo cut us off and just jumped out of the car and started screaming in the middle of the street.
So you're on a roadway.
Mhm.
Okay. He blocks in. Do you immediately recognize that that's Sigfredo's car?
It was fast, but he jumped out of the car and like stood in the middle of the street, so I knew it was him.
Now describe for the jury, because he's not a small guy, Sigfredo, right?
No, ma'am.
Okay. He's a lot taller than you are.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And at that time, was he, working out or?
Yeah, he was. Fit.
They already
what,
had
stood up in
a
front of the
trial.
car
This is
and
the
what did he do?
retrial, so they probably
He just
already
started
know
screaming in the
the
middle of the street, but I
questions
didn't
and
know what he was
answers.
saying.
Could you hear what he was saying?
No, ma'am.
Were the windows up?
And
Yes. All right. And
sometimes it's better to just have them talk, see if they changed anything, have anything to impeach them on. If she changed her mind since the 2019 trial,
Not molesting
those
the
sort of
printer.
things.
Sorry, my cat has an unrequited love with the printer. Thor does. I don't know why. And
Open the lid and press start.
he's been neutered. I don't know. We're a little confused, but it's unrequited. The printer demands a restraining order.
Mm. Yeah, I was listening in on Lawyer, because he's Florida based, and this jury selection they are doing currently, they have brought in 300 potential jurors
Holy Missouri.
find-
Well,
to find 12. So they really want this trial to start, because if you have 150 potential jurors and you don't find 12 plus 3, then it's a mistrial and you have to start over.
well, yeah, and I mean it's taken this long.
Yeah, the murder was 9 years ago. Then it was quite a high profile because law professor and everything around that.
Yeah.
Very wealthy family, so it might be hard to find a juror who hasn't heard about it in that community.
Yeah. And you have, how many people, if it's a large dental practice, I mean, how many people maybe go there just to get their braces done, or my kid has orthodontia work done with this guy and this guy, you know.
And he was the victim was married to one of the wealthiest families in the United States. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be hard to find, a non-biased jury, or but I think you can.
Hi, reindeer.
Hello.
Okay. Let's
do you know if he was screaming in English, Spanish?
do a few
I
more
don't know what he was
minutes
saying.
because
Now, when you see him, what was your reaction?
I was shocked.
What was Charlie's reaction?
Oh, he was petrified.
Now, when you say he was petrified, what do you mean?
he looks at me and then he's like just trying to find a way to get out of this, like the one, because the street is very narrow.
Mhm.
So he was trying to figure out how to basically do like a turn with the jet ski so we can go the other way.
Okay, so basically turn around because now Sigfredo was blocked off the other way.
Yes, ma'am.
Did Charles ever get out the car?
No, ma'am.
Did Charles ever say anything to you in the car?
Say something to me?
Yeah, about Sigfredo.
No.
He was just
Not
trying to
that I
get.
can yeah, he was trying to get, his focus was to get out of the way.
Now, did he get out the way?
Yes, ma'am.
What happens when you guys drive off?
Sigfredo like kind of pulls, so he jumps back in the car and he pulls up next to us and he's just screaming and I'm just looking at him like why are you, he was acting crazy.
Did you see him get on the phone?
Get on the phone while
Yeah.
while he was driving?
At any point on that day, did you see that he had gotten on the phone?
Not that I know of, no.
Okay. Now, did you find out that at some point after you left that he had made a phone call to the Adelsons?
Yes, ma'am.
How did you find out that that phone call had been made?
I don't quite remember.
Do you know whether did Charles tell you or did Sigfredo tell you?
I think this was already on the way when I came back, like when I was gonna pick up the kids from Sigfredo.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like trying to, we were fighting about something, I guess the whole situation, but I went out to the jet skis already. Like we already went out and this was on the way back.
Yeah, this is very convenient.
Yeah,
Her
she
answering-
conveniently remembers and misremembers or doesn't quite remember things.
Yeah, this is a rehearsed testimony, more or less. Well, she has done it once before. I believe she testified
Yeah.
in the first trial as well. So, yeah. But yeah, this will be more and more of this where she tries to explain away, why did your phone ping there? Why did this happen there? Where did all your cash come from? This and that. So I thought I would give you a chance to, if you wouldn't mind, show me a bit of your murder board.
Sure, let me plug that in and seriously, if you fight each other, I'm going to laugh. Right. Let me.
Ta-da!
Okay.
We'll do it like
Now,
that.
how do I add my extra camera?
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay, well, I can show you at least the Dan Markel one because he gets his own very own little victim one. But the most important thing I think that came out of this whole research that I found was that the grandparents got the Markel Act. It's not named that specifically. In 2002, they got the Markel Act passed in the state of Florida that gets grandparents increased rights and standing in court custody cases. And then we have Jeffrey LaCase, the man that we were talking about, Wendy's boyfriend, that they separated, I think a couple days before Dan got shot. Do you want to know what kind of car he drove? A light-colored Prius.
Oh.
Do you want to know who Wendy fingered? As a disgruntled boyfriend who might possibly have a reason to, because he was leaving Tallahassee, but he would be, seen. I know, I have small handwriting. That's why I use the Zoom camera. But she definitely did say, hey, that Jeffrey guy, he drives a similar car and he was disgruntled about me, rejecting him. Now he rejected her because he found the constant comments about the hitman and such distasteful.
Yeah, I would assume that he wanted out of the situation. But Wendy tried to implicate her former boyfriend as the possible shooter.
Yeah, Old Line Red is right. Yeah, he left a day earlier than Wendy believed he was leaving, so he had an alibi. But he did have a light-colored Prius, and now it's never been, conclusive, but, why else would to a Latin king and Sigfredo, rent a light-colored Prius other than,
Yeah, it's an
to
odd
have.
car for gang members to choose.
I mean, unless they're
Mm.
environmentally conscious and they just wanted to save on gas money, as you do when
As
you're
you
on a
do.
400-mile trip to,
Yeah,
stalk a law professor.
yeah. Reindeer, I think the prosecution is working their way to her and to the grandparents. They started with the shooter, then they went after this woman who is the middle person. Now they're going after Charlie, who is the prime instigator of this. And I would assume there's a lot of interesting texts and mails and comments to implicate Wendy in this as well. So they are working their way to her
Yeah.
as well.
And I will say that, so latest news that I've been keeping up with, because I was up later this evening doing this, the parents have both been taken off the witness list for this particular case
Okay.
because in order for them to be witnesses, they were going to be deposed. But instead of being deposed, they were just going to plead the fifth, to which the judge said, try that, and I will hold you in contempt.
Oh,
Uh, and finally, both the defense and the prosecution just said, fine, we will take you off the witness list.
interesting.
So I don't know what kind of shenanigans went on there, but uh, they're also going up against, the best defense that money can buy. And defense lawyers are going to say, Miss Montebuena saw a chance to, ingratiate herself into this family. Charlie can spin it as, she wanted to hook herself up to this family and,
Oh,
maybe she, was going to try to ingratiate
mm,
herself into the family by taking care of the family's problem.
mm.
Now, it's a stretch beyond stretchiness, but,
Yeah. Yeah, I
you
see
know,
here that Wendy actually testified as well under immunity.
yeah, so it's there's a lot of
Mm. Hmm.
interesting things that are going on here.
Yeah. Yeah. For new viewers, Wendy Adelson is the ex-wife of the murdered Florida State Law Professor Dan Markel. Yeah, Markel.
A- And
Correct.
I think prosecutors know that they know how crafty these people are. So I think they're being very conscientious, and you have to, I think they're crossing as much as the government can, crossing all their T's,
Yeah.
dotting all their I's. In theory, I would hope doing this to the best of their ability to get, when they get these people, they are going down. So
Yeah. Mm.
at least that's what I hope, because if not, look, I put on my petty patch in my video. Granny Donna needs to go down. That woman is human garbage allegedly in my book. Any grandma that is willing to, forsake religion and or dress up their children as Hitler Youth just to, cause the dad to do something is beyond help in my book. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and I have confirmation here now that Katherine Magpie will testify against Charlie Adelson.
yes.
So all that you hear, all that we have heard here, how innocent she is. Well, after she was convicted, she sang apparently she sang a different tune.
Yeah, and I think a couple years in prison is going to be a harsh reality maker for her.
Mm.
And the sad thing is that her kids lost both their parents because of this screwball idea.
Yeah.
I mean, Sigfredo's in prison, and she's in prison, and the Adelsons don't give two craps.
Let's see, up here when she's putting on headphones.
That might be the Dolce Vita audio.
Okay, let's see.
Okay, so in the next statement, when he's saying if they bug your phone, you're still not talking about any of this? I mean, what are you not talking about?
I don't know what he's talking about.
You couldn't hear anything that he said.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Maybe my volume was not high enough. Maybe I should try that one again. Let's try it one more time.
Yeah, I can't hear shit. I mean, this is
We're at the beginning of that time when
2022.
he says if we had any evidence, we would have already gone to the airport by now.
The only thing I caught was bugged phone.
Okay.
I didn't hear anything in the beginning.
If he had said to you, if they had any evidence, we'd already be gone to the airport by now, what was he talking about? Evidence of what?
I have no idea. I told you he was saying scenarios, and I can't remember what he was talking about at that time.
So he wouldn't have been trying to ease your mind, let you know if this is the cops, they don't have anything on us?
No?
When he says, even if they bug your phone, and at the end he says, you still have not been talking about this. What have you not been talking about on your phone?
I didn't hear anything that said anything about me not talking on the phone.
When he was talking about even if they bug this, even if they bug your phone,
Okay.
at the end of the clip, he says, you still have not been talking about this. So even if your phone is bugged, you're still not talking about this.
But is he implying to me like he might have been saying scenarios? You guys keep taking things out of context, and it's not, I don't even know. I can't answer that question if I don't know the whole thing.
Okay, so I'm telling you what I'm hearing on here, and I'm asking you about it.
What you're hearing?
That's improper.
All right, I don't want to get argumentative. You've already asked and answered that question.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
move on.
You never went to Tallahassee, did you?
No, ma'am.
And you never shot anybody, did you?
No, ma'am.
I want to play the next clip for you. He's telling you there that you have to be able to person at the scene at the time in order to prove a crime. You can't just say, oh, my brother did it, or oh, I shot JFK. You've got to have evidence. That's what he's telling you, right?
Okay.
That's what he's telling you, right?
I mean, that's what it said on the recording.
What is he talking about?
I have no idea. That's what I'm telling you. He keeps talking in scenarios. I don't know what he's talking about.
Right. And last time when
This
you
woman
testified
knows
in
nothing.
2019, you said that he was just talking in scenarios. You didn't have any specific memory about what,
Exactly. I didn't remember anything specific.
right? Your attorney asked you today whether if last
blow
time
in
you
her ear, it
explained what was
goes.
in the Dolce Vita video.
Yes,
What you explained was that you remember him talking about scenarios. You didn't know what they were. You didn't have any specific memory of that.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you don't know why he's letting you know that, hey, in order to prove a crime, they have to put the person at the scene of a crime. You don't know why.
I don't know why.
All right, I am off to do mom taxi duty. I will be listening in the background and commenting. And if you are still going when I come back, I will hop back on.
Okay.
But
I don't know, but we will see.
well, I will be listening to keep up with this case. And then I think this case might need a weekly board with all the witnesses and everything. And I
Oh,
might learn how to do Google Whiteboard, but I can't even
Hmm.
figure out how to do one-to-one ratio. So that might be a little ambitious for now.
Oh, true crime
But
logo.
thank you guys, and thank you, Nick, for inviting me. I will be listening in the background.
Hmm?
I will see you
Okay.
guys later.
See
Bye,
you. See you
guys.
later. Bye. Yeah, let's continue listening to Katherine trying to talk her way out of this.
Well, there was something that any of the problems with this is, okay, so this is on the house. So you can ask me, where's the house? You're gonna say, I don't know. You know, hey, okay. How do you did you put it in? The evidence is the only murderer on the street that this person did something. You know that's what? Zero. And what you do is you put a wire in the person always, and you can get the person to pass on a wire, and you have something that starts. You have a detector.
And that one, he tells you, if this person went to the cops, they're going to be asked, well, where's the weapon? Did you witness it? No, you just heard a rumor. Well, that's worth zero. You have to get them on a wire. You have to get the person to confess. Outside of that, there's no evidence. That's what you heard, right?
Parts of it, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And he's saying, right, that if you guys all keep quiet, no one's going to have any evidence of you, right?
I didn't know what he was talking about. I didn't know what he was talking about. He's saying scenarios over and over.
Why is he talking to this about this with you?
I don't know.
What is he saying the cops aren't going to have evidence of?
I have no idea.
You had no clue.
No.
And you didn't ask either, did you? That's your
I
testimony?
don't remember what we were talking about, or if I asked. I mean, I hear myself responding, but
Right, but you did say that you never asked why the cops should be running this undercover investigation, right?
I believe so.
Okay. You were in this Prius that Garcia and Rivera rented for the July trip to Tallahassee. You were in it at some point, right?
No, ma'am.
You never sat in it?
Never sat there.
Never rode with Garcia just to get food or something?
No, ma'am.
All right. The father of your children was in that Prius though, right?
Well, with the picture that they've showed, you see, yeah, he was in that Prius.
Okay. And in this video, Charlie Adelson is giving you examples of how just because a person was
He's
in a
very good
car
at
that
playing
someone
dumb.
used to commit a crime, that doesn't mean anything, right?
On what video?
On the Dolce Vita video.
I don't recall that part.
Okay.
I'm going back here to see if they have the doll, but I can't. There's no Dolce Vita video shown. Let's just continue.
And then I go ahead and I commit a crime, and I go, and you're getting in the car, and I go, yeah, he was in my car, he got out, and he did this horrible crime. Okay, they come and they get the DNA, he was in my car. He had a car for 2 minutes, got an EAC, and then got out of the car. He had nothing to do with the car.
Got one more.
Outside of that, there's no evidence. Okay? You have a car, and this person lives in that car, okay? But they were also driving that day, and rented it and let it go prime. What if you rent your car today? I go, hey, can I borrow for the weekend? I'll bring it back on Tuesday. You go, yeah, sure. So you rent the car. You've been in that car. I drive it to Orlando. I rock to Orlando. I come back and I go, here's the EC. And okay, thanks. Hey, you rent point is, I don't know if you know, evidently this person is pretending to want someone paid to parents.
So here in those 2 clips we listened to, he was saying you have to be able to put the person at the scene at the time, not in the car. Let's say you sat in the car, right? Then I go commit a crime, but your DNA is in there. And I said, Katie was in my car and she did this horrible crime. Okay, they get your DNA in the car and okay, Katie was in the car. No, that means Katie sat in the car for 2 minutes and got out. Katie has nothing to do with me robbing Burger King. That's what you heard, right?
Parts of it, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then he gives you another rental car example. He said, if you have a car and you can link this person to renting that car that's used at the scene of the crime, you also have to prove who was driving that day. You know, they could have rented it and lent it to a friend. Then he gives you another one, doesn't he? He says, you rent a car and I asked to borrow it. I drive to Orlando, rob a McDonald's and come back. Yeah, you rented it, but you were out. You didn't even know I took your car. Isn't that what you heard?
Parts of it, yes.
Why is he giving you so many rental car examples?
I wish I knew. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's saying scenarios. Don't you think it's kind of odd? Why is he saying all those scenarios in front of other people or whatever? If, like, apparently, if he thought that I was, what did you say earlier, that I'm wearing a wire?
No, I think that he didn't think you were wearing a wire. I think he thought that y'all were in a loud restaurant and he's trying to ease your mind. And he's saying to you, right, that he's saying.
But why is he keeps explaining himself, like, and he says, I don't have anything to do with it. Why is he trying to convince me that he has nothing to do with it when I don't know what he's talking?
I'm gonna stop.
I'm sorry.
Okay, she's gonna ask the questions and you're gonna respond, okay?
He is trying to ease your mind because the car that Garcia and Rivera rented to drive up here and kill Dan Markel had been on the news, right?
I don't know if that.
You were nervous that police might be able to connect them to having rented it or been in that car, weren't you?
Why would I be nervous? I never even knew of it.
You never knew that the car was on the news.
I knew from when Sigfredo got arrested, and I think they put a picture of that, of the Prius.
He was trying to tell you in that video that it doesn't matter if they rented a certain car or were seen in a certain car. Police have to be able to put them at the scene of the crime at the time, right?
That's what he had said on the video, but I don't know what he was talking about.
So he's just talking about that. You have no
He's
idea why.
giving different scenarios.
Okay. One of the scenarios he gave was, he said, you know, it could be the cops, you know, trying to run an undercover investigation, or it could be somebody trying to blackmail his family. That was the other scenario, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Why did he think somebody would be extorting money from his family?
I don't know. That's what he was trying to figure out.
Wouldn't you be curious as to why someone was trying to blackmail his family?
Would I be curious?
Right.
I was curious. That's why I sat there and they listened.
Right. But you never asked him, why would somebody be trying to blackmail your family? Why are the cops doing this investigation on your family?
I don't know if I asked them at that time or not, because
You said
apparently
in
they didn't
2019
even.
you did not, right?
Well, apparently then I don't because I don't recall. But if that video said, or like it picked up anything that I was saying, then I would know what I was talking about.
Well, you said in 2019 that you did not
Okay,
ever
so then
ask that, right? And now though the video is audible, right? And it's pretty obvious you would have known what was going on in order to
Objection
listen
to
to
that.
all this.
characterization
Oh,
of the
that's,
evidence.
all right, ask a question, Ms.
Yes, sir.
Susan.
All right, let's listen to one more.
They enhanced the video sound between 2019 and 2022. That makes it a lot harder for her to explain herself away. Yeah, she had the memory of an FBI agent on cross.
About 12, 15 seconds in there, you heard him say that, you know, if this was somebody blackmailing his family, this is somebody who knows information. That's what he said to you, right?
If that's what it said on the video.
Is that what you heard? That this is
No,
someone who
all I
knows
heard, I
information?
heard a little bit in the end, but I didn't hear the first sentence, like what you were just saying right now.
What is he talking about that these people know information about?
I don't know. Keep telling you, I don't even remember.
It's up to the court to say if the enhancing the sound counts as editing. It has to be done beforehand in motions. And if the court allows it, the court allows it. We are doing a recap from the 2022 trial, listening to her testimony and cross-examination. Yeah, she was convicted in this trial, and now she in the 2023 trial against Charlie Adelson, she's turning state witness. Yay! So I would assume she changed her tune remarkably fast after the conviction. Yeah. Prosecution doesn't care about her answers.
If this is a bad guy, there's two ways of dealing with it. We can go ahead and call the police. They'll contact him, arrange a setup, take him down. But then he'll be telling everything he knows, or else he's going to serve 10 years in prison. And the next thing you know, that person's singing, and he's going to start calling your name out. And my parents are going to have to say, they're going to be asked the story of what happened. Isn't that what you heard?
I didn't hear that, like not all of everything that you're saying, but like I said, I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, you heard him say at the end of that clip that they're going to be calling your name out, that black
My name?
Right.
No, I did not hear that.
With this bad guy who knows is going to tell the cops information, why would he be calling your name out?
I don't know.
All right, got one more.
It's past 8. Cheers. Oh.
I know whoever this guy is, I don't know who he is. And these people are going to say my friend, say I got it, we can call the and say I got it, so I got to call somebody and say, I reached out, all I wanted to say. I got it, so if you reach out,
Yeah, I can't hear shit. What bottle is that? This is Euro 12. And while we are at it, dun, 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 what time is it? What time is it? What time is it? It is! It is grifting time. Yes. once or twice per stream. I remind you that this channel survives and prospers on memberships and the occasional super chat. Memberships are $3 a month, and you will get your money's worth almost immediately, because every day this week I am producing a members only video. That's about the farm, my surroundings, the renovations, something of the sort, so we can get to know each other better. So if you have the chance, if you have the means, either become a member for $3 a month, or you can gift membership to others because you think this guy is amazing. All right, that was today's. That was today's scripting time. All right, let's get back to what she is all about.
What?
What you're talking about. And frankly, I don't know what you're talking about, but the name sounds familiar. Police incarcerated. So probably something and charity to help the less fortunate. But do not contact these people again. And let us know you had to do every single role that these people are supposed to play, because they don't know anything. I don't.
Bless you.
The name sounds a little familiar, and then I can help you out as a chairman. And don't ever contact me, my friends, damn it again, we will. That way, it's fun. You know everything. And you may have a friend, you may not be so cool. What's going on? You may know people, those that get people. And then, one time, and this is charity to help somebody out. Less fortunate, you fun. And as you want to be fun, you can happen together.
Yeah, I would agree to that. Sounds like he's giving her instructions.
So in that clip, after he explains that this bad guy could tell information to the police, could call your name out, he says, this is my idea. And he gives you very precise instructions, doesn't he? In that
Yeah,
clip.
he was talking about the calling to say it's, yeah.
He told you to say, my friends have no idea what you're talking about. And frankly, I don't know what you're talking about either, but the name sounds familiar. Who's incarcerated?
Yes, ma'am.
Whose name did he think sounded familiar?
I believe it's because his mom got bumped and said that you have to help your friend's Tato or something.
Right.
Like your brother Tato. I don't know. He's talking about Tato or Tuto.
Okay. The name Tato and Tuto were familiar to you.
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
And you never had to tell him who Tuto and Tato were. He knew and you knew, right?
I don't know if he knew. Well, yeah, he did. He knew Tuto's name. I
Okay.
don't know about Tato.
Tato was the one who was incarcerated, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you knew that.
I knew he was incarcerated by the feds, but I don't know where he was at.
All right, and he said, so I'm going to give you something as charity to help the less fortunate, but do not contact these people again or they're going to the police. The only reason we're doing it is because of karma. And the whole time that you're talking, this is what he's telling you to do, right?
Okay.
He wants you to say, I don't know what's going on, and only use the words help and charity, right?
Okay.
He really didn't want you to give this guy any information about what you knew, did he?
Didn't want to give who?
He really didn't want you to give this blackmailer any information about what you knew, right? He's saying, don't say anything else, right?
No, he's he's trying to convince me now that how many times I've listened to it. He's trying to convince me to do this. If I was in any way, shape, or form in this with him, why would he throw me to the cops and tell me to?
Because
say
you were
this?
the ex-girlfriend who took care of this problem for him. You are his connection to these people. He wants you to take care of it.
No, they mentioned my name. They mentioned Tuto's name,
Right.
and then they mentioned about a brother being incarcerated, which was Tato.
I know. And then he starts
So-
talking about Sigfredo Garcia right after that clip, right? That we just heard. He starts talking to you about Sigfredo Garcia, doesn't he?
Refresh my memory, like what
Charlie
was he
Adelson
saying?
starts talking to you about Sigfredo Garcia, doesn't he?
I don't know who he was talking about.
Yeah, same seems to have her in the corner, as Shanagram said in the chat earlier. It's hard to bluff your way out of something when all of a sudden they had the audio. This would have been handled before trial or as a motion in limine in the trial, and apparently it's allowed by the judge. So it's up to the judge's discretion.
In that clip we just heard, he's saying now he's fucking with him, he's fucking with his wife. If he's fucking with the king himself, you better kill him because he's going to be a big problem. He knows who you are. And if he can't do it, have someone else do it. Right?
Yeah, but he's not talking. It's talking about Tuto there. Like, where?
not?
No.
Okay, well, let's keep listening, but 1 second. He's telling you, though, in that part that I just talked about, how mad Garcia needs to be about this, right? Some guy is messing with you, putting your name out there as part of this, and you need to kill him or he's going to be a big problem. He either needs to do it or have somebody else do it, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think he's talking about Sigfredo there.
Okay.
This audio is from, they were wiretapping and having surveillance. So this recording is from a restaurant where they were, where apparently they thought that they could speak freely in a busy restaurant. And according to the prosecution, they had the audio enhanced between the 2019 trial and this trial.
When he says that to you, why don't we see you jumping up from the table? Why don't we see you raising your voice saying, whoa, kill? What are you talking about? We don't.
Yeah, I would have said something like that, but I didn't even know what you're saying about kill. Obviously, I didn't react that way because it wasn't something that's like.
Well, you heard him say, you better kill him or he's going to be a big problem. Either he can do it or have someone else do it. You heard him say that, right?
Part of it, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you didn't jump out and run out of there.
No,
Okay. You didn't raise your voice and start, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not being a part of anything like this. Did you?
no, but if he's like saying scenarios and he's talking about stuff, like I'm probably not even, like it's nothing that like made me like, oh my God, like what are you talking about? Like, why are you even talking? Period.
Charlie said, so help me God, if they fuck with my family, it's going to be Nazi shit. This will be done. I mean, Katie, I don't care what I have to spend. I swear to God. He's telling you that he needs this guy killed and he doesn't care what he has to spend. That's what he's saying, right?
Overruled.
I mean, if that's what he's saying, I can't say what he was stating it for.
What did you understand him to mean when he said that?
Charlie's always talking about different, you've heard people say that he's always talking about some weird stuff. Like, that's not something that like, oh, somebody's messing with his family. I get that. And somebody's trying to blackmail his mom or whatever, but it's not to the point where I was like, like it didn't make me like, whoa.
I have one question. He said to you, you better kill him or he's going to be a big problem. If he can't do it, have someone else do it. And he didn't care what he had to spend, right?
Objection, asked and answered.
That's been asked and answered.
You seem pretty calm when he's saying this to you. Wouldn't you agree with that?
I don't know how my demeanor was. That's what I'm saying. I wasn't like, whoa, like I didn't run out and jet out of there.
Had he said that to you before? Like when he wanted his brother-in-law killed?
Said what? He's never spoken about
killed. He didn't care how much he had to spend to do it.
No, ma'am, he's never spoken about Professor Markel or murder or having anything to do with that. That's why it didn't raise anything to me.
I want to show you one thing. Just going to make this screen. So this is the same clip we've been listening to, and I've been pausing this one. Let's keep listening and see who he was just talking about.
This is a witness who is desperate in trying to. What worked in the 2019 trial obviously didn't work here because they had the better audio. So she's desperately scrambling to answer something. Oh yeah, she is talking her way into a conviction in this trial. At this time, they had the other guy incarcerated. This is back in, well, I'm not exactly sure what year, but it must have been in the following months after the murder. And yeah, it took them 5 years to get to trial, the first trial, and then another 3 years to get to this trial, and another year for the current one that's starting Thursday, according to the court docket. So they probably knew everybody who would be involved and had people following them around. Because as you might see here, the camera is pointed this way. So whoever is sitting here is trying to sit close enough and have some kind of recording device. Timestamp says 2016. Okay, so 2 years later. In the first trial, the guy who sits here was convicted because the accomplice snitched on him. But so they tried both that guy and Katherine, He got convicted. She wasn't. So they retried her in 2022. And she was convicted. And now she is a state witness against Charlie Adelson.
So right after he's telling you he needs somebody killed, he doesn't care what he has to spend. 30 seconds after that, he's checking in with you about Sigfredo Garcia. He says at 6 minutes and 57 seconds in that clip, he knows I have you on salary. You think he'd be happy to know that?
I didn't hear that.
You didn't
About
know that?
salary or nothing, no.
He says he doesn't have any bad feelings towards me, does he? Our paths never crossed.
That I can assume that maybe he was talking about Sigfredo.
Right. He says, I didn't know the two of you would be working out. He's talking about Sigfredo there.
I believe so. Like with what he's saying at that part, yes.
Right after what we just talked about, he's saying, this guy needs to be killed. If he can't kill him, find somebody else to do it. He's going to be a big problem. He's fucking with me. He's fucking with his wife, right?
Objection, act on answer.
Overruled.
He's talking about Garcia right after that.
I don't know if he was talking about Garcia.
You
He's talking
just-
about Garcia now that the part that where you're saying that, oh, our paths never cross or whatever. I can assume he's talking about Sigfredo, but at that time, I don't think he's talking about kill and all of this and he's saying that it was him. Why didn't he just say his name?
You do admit, though, he's talking to you about Garcia right after he's telling you that he needs to have someone killed. And if he can't do it, find someone else who can do it.
Objection, act on answer.
Asked and answered.
All right. So
Should have played all the other calls as well. You just one little call that I was so upset already. He's been annoying me with this different scenarios
right
for all the other
today,
calls. And I was
you're pretending not to be that person. You just don't know anything about anything, didn't ask
Judge,
any questions.
Objection. Improper question. She's pretending to be someone today.
All right, I will strike the question. Ask another question.
Today you're saying you don't know anything and you didn't ask any questions, right?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this, as I've read articles about it, this is how everything is. This Katherine, memory loss, can't remember, explaining away, doing all the thingies. All the thingies. Oh, I could have been here. Or I'm up here. Or here. Or here. Let's get back to here, I think. Well, I think we are up to speed because we know now that she has been changing her tune and becomes a state witness against Charlie Adelson. I would assume she has something in it for her, and it will be really, really interesting. Really, really interesting to hear, to now from Thursday going forward, to hear the trial against Charlie Adelson. Both the first and second trial was 9 days. I have no idea how many days it is scheduled for. I only have for this week. I will check when they update the court docket, how far in the future they will have this trial. But I would assume it will be at least 2 weeks, at least. Yeah. So now we are all up to speed with what is going on in this trial. And trial starts Thursday. Tomorrow, me and Mo are doing a Delphi case update since court shenanigans has thrown out Richard Allen's defense. And we have to talk about it. And we have words tomorrow at noon Eastern time. So it will be in the, I hope, in the lunch break in the trials that the other guys are covering. I will be sending you off to Valhalla Awaits, because Valhalla and Dave is co-streaming this, so it doesn't really matter. You can go to him and then jump back and forth and do all the thumbs up and thingies. All right, thank you all for showing up. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through this jungle and cluster F and everything. It will be interesting on Thursday to hear what will the opening statements, if it is anything different from the first trial that we listened to yesterday. But yeah, that's all for me for today. Thank you. Go over and subscribe to Mo. Give her all the thumbs up. Watch everything she has ever done. And if the redirect fails, Ghostery has the Valhalla link there. Okay, thank you all. See you all later. Bye-bye.